Hello everybody and welcome back to another Path of Exile 1 video. Today we're going to be doing a day 3 update for the Ignite Eviscerate Elementalist. Let's get started. First of all, we're going to talk about the campaign. This is one of the smoothest league starts I've had in quite some time. We played Kinetic Fusillade in Acts 1 to 3, and after killing normal Azaro, we swapped right into the Eviscerate Ignite action, and we've been playing that setup ever since. Alright, as you can see on the screen right now, the bosses were melting, right, and you have enough clear. I guess my only complaint is you might get stuck around waiting for the cooldown of Eviscerate to pop out. This does get better with quality, I promise. So if you have a chromatic orb, if you have a 4 or 5 link in your gear that has a red socket, make sure to put that Eviscerate there. It's going to make the build feel so much smoother. So campaign went really well. I ended up doing it deathless in about 5 hours 40 minutes, and that was my day 1. There was some IRL stuff going on, so I couldn't play for too long. So my day 1 was just finishing the campaign, and then I logged out. Day 2, we made some minor upgrades to our gear. We picked up the Dietis Unique Axe, we picked up Chernobog's Pillar, and then we also upgraded some of our rares, and we started mapping. The goal on day 2 was to get all of the Atlas progression done. So basically your 100 maps, red map progression, and then your 2 stones. I don't have any footage of me fighting Eater or Exarch because I honestly didn't know how it would go, but it went really smoothly. We had enough damage. We didn't take a lot of damage. We did die a couple times on Exarch because the golems will get you killed during the ball phase. That is not a problem I know how to fix. If you're playing hardcore, take your golems off or you will randomly explode during that mechanic. Right, in terms of gear upgrades for day 2, we actually didn't have to change much. We upgraded from the Dietis Axe to Rebuke of the Ball. We also upgraded from the Chernobog's Pillar to Leper's Shield, and then we grabbed ourselves a Daiden Dawn, so that belt was also very cheap, and then we used those items to basically finish our 2-stone run. Okay, so a couple chaos is all we spent on the build up to this point. Day 3 is when things started getting interesting, so this is when you have your Atlas points mostly complete. You're trying to settle into a farming strategy and make some currency so you can get your other 2 Watchstones, and then also kind of progress your gear so your build feels better to play. So you want to go from a 5 link to a 6 link, maybe you want to get that Aegis Aurora, all the other upgrades I talked about very loosely in the League Start video. Okay, so what did we do? I got myself an Aegis, that was like about 330 chaos, which is 3 divs roughly. I got myself a better Rebuke of the Vol. There's a high variance on the sword, so you want to make sure you get a sword with high total DPS. Okay, we catalyzed our Daiden Dawn, so it is doing even more damage for our build. I don't know if I mentioned Barracks for Spite yet, but that was also kind of expensive on day 1 and 2. People are using it to make taming, so we are contesting all those people that want taming. So I got myself Barracks for Spite. It improved my clear so much. The only thing I couldn't get was a Polaric Devastation. I don't know what is going on with this item. Maybe a lot of people are playing Ignite or Fire-based builds, but this item has been going up and up ever since the league start. I haven't checked what it is today, but yesterday it was almost 6 divs, which is ridiculous. So we do not have our Polaric Devastation unique ring just yet. We did get the Incandescent Heart setup going. This is a unique chest that is going to give you a ton of damage, but it makes you take chaos damage from elemental hits. So make sure you have that chaos resistance on your rares before you make the swap. Okay, I did, and then you also have the Chaos Golem giving you chaos resistance. But all in all, it was a really comfortable setup to do the rest of the Atlas progression with. So once I got all of these things set up, I did my Flasks, I put in a couple jewels, I went and killed Maven, Shaper, Elder, we got the last 2 Watchstones, and then I also did basically all the Maven invitations. Believe it or not, on this humble budget, we were able to clap the cheeks of Feared. But I will say, I do not recommend this build as a bosser until you get Mage Blood and very heavy investment. I'm going to tell you why. It's not that we have a damage problem, we have a uptime problem. So bosses typically attack a lot slower than map monsters. I think I have Maven footage playing on the screen right now. You're going to see that sometimes I'm just standing there waiting to get hit, and while that is happening, you are dealing no damage. So to compensate for that jankiness, that lack of uptime, you need to get dot cap before you can boss on this build. So when you do get a hit, the boss is going to melt, and it's not going to make the fight feel like it takes takes forever, okay? So that is my only complaint with trying to boss with this build. We are going to try and improve our DPS so we can do Ubers, but I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. We'll talk about that in the what next section. Alright, so I've logged into my character here. In the interest of keeping things short, we are very quickly going to go over all of the things we kind of just talked about. We are level 95. Our slash played is 1 day, 11 hours, 4 minutes, and 38 seconds. My slash deaths is a 67. Okay, I've regained composure. Sorry for that. So apparently I've died 67 times. If you're wondering why that is, guys, I've been doing a little bit of sketchy Atlas strats. We are basically farming Maven Destructive play with the Interference Scarab. That is how I'm getting all these maps, and then I'm just throwing myself at some of these crazy fights with map effect modifiers. That's why I've died. The build is not squishy, I promise, and when we get some upgrades, it's going to be very, very tanky even against crazy setups like this. But getting ahead of myself here, this is my sword, Rebuke of the Vol. It's got some pretty decent rolls on it, okay? Shield, Aegis Aurora, this is what you want to be using. It gives you recover energy shield equal to 2% of your armor when you block. So basically every time you block, your little ES goes up. You can see here we have a 9.5k armor without any buffs. That is very nice. Our chestplate, we are using an incandescent heart. This one is corrupted and it is 6-link. You're probably not going to be able to afford something like this right off the rip. Try to get one that is not corrupted so you can 6-link it normally. Okay, tainted fusings are going for quite a lot right now. So this is what I had before I swapped into the corrupted version, okay? Just a 5-link incandescent heart. The important roll is gain percent elemental damage as extra chaos. Make sure that is high rolled. The rest of it doesn't really matter. Okay, so this is my very nice 6-link. The important thing here is that there needs to be a red socket for you to put Eviscerate in. Cooldown recovery is what you get for having quality. So you can see here we are getting 30% increased cooldown recovery rate from having that red socket and having a Eviscerate gem that is 20% quality, okay? But we'll talk about gems later. Our rares are very trash. These are things I crafted myself. It's got a life roll, a resist. These rares are bad. They don't even have armor energy shield. They're just on an armor energy shield base, okay? So if you can beat the game with trash rares like this, imagine how strong the build is going to be when you actually get that recombinated gear with tier 1 affixes and all that jazz, okay? So just life, resist, chaos resist is really important. So if you have the deafening essence of envy, you want to craft with that. We also use the all flame mechanic on some of these, so you'll see that the intangibility is there. Okay, Eldritch Implicits on these items, we talked about in the League Starter video. Go watch it if you want to know what that is. I'm not going to waste time here talking about that. Didian Dawn, this one makes your ignites deal damage faster. We used Turbulent Catalyst on it to give it even more damage. And then our amulet is trash, doesn't have any damage modifiers on it. Basically, I'm just using it as a dexterity stat stick. Okay, it has some life and some resistances. I need to get a better amulet. Ashes of the Star is something you can consider if you want to get ahead of yourself and get ready for the CIES transition and all that jazz, okay? Here's my Barracks Respite. And then here is a crappy ring I am using, also just for resistances and life. This should be Polaric Devastation. Let's actually look how much that item costs. So, Polaric Devastation, Opal Ring. Alright, so 650 Chaos Orbs, and the price just keeps going up, which is really unfortunate. So, save up for this one. Try to get it sooner than later, because it seems like everybody's playing Ignite or Fire damage characters this time around. Flasks, we have Corrupted Blood Immunity, we have Ignite Immunity, then we have Quicksilver, used when charge is full. We have Sulfur, used when you hit a rare or unique enemy, and then we have our Tincture I talked about, giving us a little bit of damage. It does drain your mana pretty quickly. I'll use it now. You can see what happens. Or that doesn't actually work in Hideout. Okay, let's try that again. Okay, so we're in the ledge right now, and I'll pop my Mana Tincture, and you'll see what happens to the mana as it persists, okay? So eventually you will run out of mana, your tincture will go, and you will have to wait for it to come back up. Anyways, we're back in the hideout now. Our Pantheons are very similar to what I suggested. This is the Soul of the Brine King, giving us anti-freeze and stun mitigation. We did have to swap into Soul of Aberrath, though. I forgot how much Burning Ground is in this game. Every mechanic I'm doing there is Burning Ground, and if you don't have Unaffected by Burning Ground, you are going to melt to dots because your block doesn't really participate in mitigating that. Okay? Try to keep things going as smoothly as possible. Ascendancy, we already know the order. Speaking of which, we do have our golems now. I don't have them summoned because they kind of make a lot of noise and they're distracting. But with the golems up, we're capped resistances. We have almost 11.1k armor, and we also have a little bit more attack and cast speed, okay? So the speed doesn't feel clunky in my opinion, just the mobility does because all we have is our boots and then we have Flame Dash. So I'll let these guys run around for a few seconds. What else is there for me to talk about? Here's my currency stash. Okay, we've got 500 chaos and 11 divs. If you're wondering where the divines come from, I promise you none of them were from organic drops. I don't think I saw a single divine off of ground loot. Atlas completion, like I said, we have all of it complete, right? 138 out of 138. Very nice. I guess I might as well talk about the Atlas right now. So we have the poop tree that I had from before. This was my betrayal. I removed all the betrayal nodes, and right now it is red altars. There might be some footage of this playing at some point in the video. I used this at the start to gain some currency to make some of these upgrades, and then I swapped into the Goop Atlas tree. This is Maven Destructive Play. We are basically running all the increased map effect modifiers and find more maps inside your maps, combined with Maven Destructive Play, which makes the bosses at the end really, really tough to fight. And then you combine it with the Scarab of the Interference, as well as the Scarab of Escalation, and you're going to find a ton of Conqueror, Shaper, Elder Slayer maps. Okay, so this is how we're going to be making our money to make upgrades for the build. I guess I've been a little bit all over the place. I think there's not much for me to say in terms of gems here, guys. Like, just look at the POB. You're going to see exactly what you need to do. We went over the gear upgrades. We need to save up to get better rares, and then we want to swap into Ephemeral Edge. That is going to give you access to the Volatility support. So basically, once you make that switch, you're going to take out Swift Affliction, and then you're going to put in a Volatility support, which I believe I have one over here. Okay, so Volatility support is going to make it so that you have a higher maximum damage and a lower minimum damage. When you use Ephemeral Edge, your minimum damage is 1, and your maximum damage is based off your energy shield. So when you use this gem, it's going to make that range even better. You basically get all of the upside for none of the downside, and you're going to get so much more damage for using that setup. When should you make that swap? I would recommend at least having 4k ES before you make that swap, or otherwise Rebuke of the Ball is actually higher DPS. So I will fine-tune that and let you guys know in the next update video. Right, the last thing I want to talk about is the passive tree. Once again, apologies for it being all over the place. Maybe I'll edit it and move things around. We have a cluster jewel setup going on right now. This is a 8 passive large cluster jewel. Increased attack damage while holding your shield. Okay, the mods I went for here is some damage and block mods. Okay, so Prodigus Defense is going to be giving us some block chance. Okay, the attack damage here doesn't apply to your ignites, but the block chance is good. And then we are using Calamitas, which is giving us increased elemental damage with attack skills. This does affect your ignite. Okay, but what this does is it lets us use some normal jewels. So here we have block attack damage and fire damage over time multiplier. We have several more of these jewels, and then this one has corrupted blood immunity on it as well. So that is the jewel setup for now. We still need to get a Watcher's Eyes. We have plenty of levels to get. There is a jewel socket here, and I believe there is a jewel socket here. So we should be able to swap into the Watcher's Eyes and other unique jewels when we have the currency for it. Otherwise, the passive tree looks very much the same. We also want to spend a couple of points into Sovereignty here, because that is going to let us run a second 50% aura when we get Enlighten into our build. Okay, so passive skill tree looks really, really good. I think that's all I have to say, guys. Like, I don't know. The build feels great. I've played a lot of good League starters, and I want to say this is the best I've played so far. It's right up there with Ice Nova of Frostbolts. The only complaint is that little bit of jank when you're waiting for monsters to hit you. I have some ideas on how to fix that. You guys might not like it because it's going to make your paper DPS and defenses look worse, but I promise you, if it works out, the build will feel smoother to play, and you're not really going to notice any in-game difference like having lower DPS or anything like that. But that's all I have to say right now. Thank you for watching the Day 3 update. Let me know how your League start is going. If you're playing this build, I want to know what you think about it. If you found some other really cool League starter to play, we had so many good ones this time around. Let me know how that is going for you as well. Alright, and last but not least, let's address the elephant in the room. Loot this league sucks. This is a very big step down from Mirage in 3.28, but everybody is feeling it. Everybody is poor. Everybody is suffering. And when the economy adjusts, I think you guys will be able to enjoy the game. Just try not to get caught up in the zeitgeist in Reddit or watching people's streams, watching people's videos, and them telling you the game sucks and you shouldn't be having fun. That's not true. There's plenty of fun to be had. But if loot really is a problem, then sit this one out. Come back for 330. There's going to be a next league. They're going to fix it. The game's going to be better. It's not the end of the world. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. I'm going to go do more maps. We have a lot of currency to farm. I want to min-max this build into Oblivion and see how far we can push this setup because I am having so much fun and I haven't felt this way since I played Ice Nova of Frostbolt. So with that said, thank you guys for watching. Like if you liked it. Consider subscribing for more Path of Exile 1 content, and I'll see you soon with a new video. Bye!